Hey everyone, on this episode of DIY, we're going to be installing the Jackson Racing cold air intake. So the main reason I decided to install this kit was I wanted to get a nice little bump in power from my old Miata. It adds a nice throttle response through all the gears, and you get a nice additional induction noise, which I'll show the difference at the end of this video. That all being said, let's get to it. So the first thing we must do is remove the crossover tube and the stock airbox. Remove the top of the airbox, and later we will be disassembling the airflow meter from it. Then locate all the bolts attaching the lower part of the airbox to the chassis, and then remove the whole thing completely. Next we will detach the crossover tube from the throttle body. You'll need some needle nose pliers to remove the two pinch clips attaching the tube to the idle speed control valve. Once this is all done, you can remove the crossover tube. For the next part, you'll be removing the thermostat, so I recommend you drain your radiator just a little bit so the fluid's below that line. In this step, we will be removing the top of the thermostat housing. First, unplug the coolant temperature sensor. You can see ours is broken. Next, you will unfasten the two 12mm bolts. Remove the clamp attaching this tube to the radiator, and then remove the upper part of the thermostat and the tube and set these aside. With the stock airbox removed, all you have to do now is remove and detach the stock OEM airflow meter. There's just a series of bolts that hold it onto the airbox. The only thing we're not showing you in this video for this step is attaching it to the Jackson Racing airbox included. The instructions have great pictures for that, so please consult them when you reach this step. So now we are removing the old crusty gasket from the thermostat. We used a screwdriver and a flat scraper, and then a razor blade for the final stuck-on pieces. Be sure you don't scrape any of the metal surfaces, because then you may not get a proper seal. Next, you're going to locate the thermostat spacer, two gaskets, and the two M8X 50mm bolts in the kit. Remove the backing on both of the thermostat gaskets and use the adhesive to attach them to each side of the spacer. Make sure you apply a thin layer of silicone to the other sides of each of the gaskets. Now we're just reassembling the thermostat with the thermostat spacer, the two gaskets, and the M8X 50mm bolts. For this step, you need to find the elbow, the silicone sleeve, and two hose clamps. Place the silicone sleeve over the throttle body and attach it with one of the hose clamps. Slide the smaller end of the elbow into the silicone sleeve and attach it with a hose clamp. When attaching the elbow, make sure the brass fitting faces toward the driver's side of the car. Next, you want to connect the idle air control valve and the crank vent hose to the new elbow. Next, you're going to locate the accordion flex tube and two hose clamps. We're going to be attaching the accordion flex tube to the other end of the elbow. Place the lower section of the airbox into the engine bay and attach the flex hose tube to the airflow meter. It should be noted, if you have cruise control, you may need to route the vacuum lines. There's a picture for this in figure 12 in your instructions. There are two bolts you must remove from the front radiator support. These are the holes that the lower airbox will attach to with the MX25 bolts provided in the kit. It takes a bit of maneuvering to get the lower airbox in place, but once you get these bolts in, the rest should be easy. Next, we're going to place the included air filter into the airbox with the red side facing up. Push it down into place and make sure it seals. Next, we're going to attach the top of the airbox with the included washers and screws. Do not put a screw in the driver's side rear corner of the airbox. This will be used to mount the support bracket. Now we're going to install the airbox support bracket onto the rear driver's side corner of the airbox. You're going to use the remaining screws and washers. The lower part of the bracket attaches where the airbox was held. Use the provided 8x20mm bolt to secure the bracket. Now we're going to be installing the wire harness extension to connect to the stock wiring harness with the airflow meter. Use one of the bolts on the crankcase ventilation pipe to attach the included cable clamp. Take the hood prop out of the hood and use a temporary support to prop up the hood. Remove the hood prop from its mounting bracket for reinstallation later. Remove the bolt securing the radiator. It's this bolt near the front of the vehicle. Then use the M6X12 bolt in the kit to secure the included hood prop holder. Place the included swivel bracket into the hood prop holder and reinstall the hood prop into the swivel bracket. And lastly, we're going to install the hood prop mount into the square slot located on the end of the brake valve. So from that brief clip, you can kind of hear the difference in the induction noise. I noticed a definite throttle response difference throughout the gears after this install. If you have any questions regarding the installation process of this kit, please leave me a comment below. I always get my parts from mossmiata.com. Check out their inventory. They have everything you need from the 1990 to the current generation. And thanks for watching.